from the way that they are playing, it looks like it. They've got a couple of problems, a couple of questions that they really need to answer very quickly. And obviously, it doesn't make it easier. I mean, the fact that the top player in the world is not with them on tour.
We saw this coming from a long way off. When talking specifically about AB de Villiers and his presence or non-presence in the test side and with the rest of the team, both ODI and T20 sides, he came back, and right now it seems like we're dealing with those chickens coming home to roost, the kind of discord that has been sown around whether he's going to be playing tests or not. Is it fair to put it all squarely on AB's doorstep?
Well, it's not all fair to put it all on him, but the big part of it, it has to go on him. I mean, he is the balance of that team. Any team with AB de Villiers is a hard team to bowl out. You know, the scorecard, the total does seem to change a little bit. I mean, a couple of years back, you saw the team that beat England right at Lord's. They had a totally different batting lineup. It was full of experience. It was full of balance, you know. But now it's just a bit, it's just a bit rattled at the moment. And his absence surely is the one that's missed.
Absences that was also felt was Captain Faf du Plessis on paternity leave. We also had the coach Russell Domingo not around for the first couple of days because he had a family emergency to deal with as well. He's also just thrown his hat into the ring to try and extend or get a new contract with the Proteas. They've got new batsmen up the order, middle of the order. All those kind of things that they surely cannot be the best way to be going into a test series against England in England.
Not ideal, isn't it? But such as Test cricket, those are the things that, unfortunately, such a high-class team need to deal with and put it out their heads. It's very unfortunate that we missed out on Faf. You know, he is a quality captain, probably one of the best in the world, and he does add, you know, good leadership amongst his team. And in terms of his batting as well, he has a great balance. He's a fighter till the end. So, but the small things like that surely cannot be the excuses, you know, because we saw this coming. It was not as if this happened overnight. Yes. We saw this coming, whether AB is there or not, whether Faf, you know, happened not to be there at that time. But such as Test cricket, that's what happens when you're playing international sports. You got to just deal with the pressures on that day.
Let's talk a little bit about the differences that Faf will bring into the side, the quick fixes that you think he can put into that side.
I think the calmness, one thing he's going to bring in. I think the fact that he's going to tell his team not to panic. Yes, there's a lot that's gone on behind closed doors. You know, the world has also been watching as to how SA cricket is progressing. So there's a lot of calmness he's going to bring in. There's still a lot to play for in this test series. Also, pride is at stake. So him as a leader and obviously a top-class batsman brings in a lot of difference into that team setup. So there's still a lot of cricket to be played. So, and we look forward to the test in Trent Bridge. What
difference do you make that having Russell Domingo back in will make?
Definitely to add a little bit of difference as well in terms of leadership. I'm sure he's got a lot that he's seen is picked up while he was not there. So there's a lot that a coach can pick up from the sidelines that he can relay to his team. As we saw, the way that South Africa played was not clinical, as we've mentioned. They dropped a couple of catches. There were a couple of ill disciplines that were there and there. So besides the fact that the likes of AB were not there, we were not clinical in the field. We didn't give ourselves the best chance to win the test match. So I think that the likes of AB, the likes of Russell Domingo, the leadership will point out those few small points so that they are corrected by the time the second test starts.
Let's talk a little bit about the fact that they're going to be without Kagiso Rabada. For a little bit of ill discipline. Some people say was a little harsh on ICC to give him that demerit point which knocked him over and make sure that he misses the next test. But it's cumulative, it's been said. It goes back to the incident with Dikwela when Sri Lanka were playing that ODI against Sri Lanka. What do you make of the fact that he's not going to be around? And for something some people say, but it's been done all along.
Yes, it's been the talk. I mean, besides South Africa losing the test match, it's been the talk. I mean, people have got their opinions. I mean, ICC have set the standards. Where do you draw the line? You know, how aggressive is the game going to be moving on forward? You know, are we going to be that pedantic about how the aggression of these two teams, you know, are going to be taking it out there? It does add a little bit of uncertainty in terms of how the game will carry on. But surely he's going to be missed. I mean, Kagiso is a world-class bowler. It does add a little bit of inconsistency as well in our team selection moving on to Trent Bridge. So we've got a couple of issues that we need to deal with before the second test. But nonetheless, out of all those issues, we need to win a test match in England. Ultimately, we need to win this test series, and that's going to be very hard.
Faf has come out and conceded that, you know what, JP Dumini's place is up for grabs in the test side. What do you think it's going to look like? Do you think it's fair to single out JP Dumini, not talk about Hashim Amla, or do you think JP Dumini is the one that's actually been the main weak link in the side?
I think it has to be said. I mean, he has struggled in this type of form, in this form of the game for a number of years now. You know, he's been found out on that short ball, which we saw in that second innings. I mean, as aggressive as he was found out. But his spot is up for grabs. I'll be very surprised if we see JP Dumini put on the South African jersey again, especially in the white color. You know, so he's not far off Faf du Plessis. He knows that he's coming under pressure, he's coming under some scrutiny, and the pressure of the runs for himself, you know, has been the issue. Look at his record. His record actually tells a story. You know, he's been around now. He's supposed to be a player who's supposed to guide South Africa in times of trouble, but he just seems to falter, you know, at the crucial stages. So definitely his place is up for grabs, and I think it's time for also South African cricket to move in the right direction in terms of planning for the future. You know, Hashim Amla is a kind of a different story. I think look at the record. I mean, you can rely on Hashim Amla actually getting the team out of trouble at certain stages. You know, his form dips there and there, but I don't think he's the one that you can actually leave out the team at this moment. He's not in the worst form as JP.
Surely the story that class is permanent is a bit tired now, especially in Hashim Amla's case. It's been a while since he pulled the team out of a spot of bother.
No, absolutely, but I also think the tour that we're in right now in England is going to be very difficult for selectors to make rash changes, 2 or 3 changes at once, you know, especially when you're going to pull out a player like Hashim Amla, who's played a number of test matches in a tour like England. I think he's probably going to finish off this tour and probably will reassess himself on his future in terms of the national team. But I think he's a handy player to still have for South Africa at the moment.
Quick question for you. So Dumini probably out, Faf pulls into his place. Any other changes you'd make to the side going to Nottingham?
I think they have to look at Quinton de Kock coming up that order. He's a serious player. He always comes in and scores runs at number 7, runs out of partners. Surely up the order he can make a difference at number 5, I think. But I think in terms of you know, just rest changes, I think they're not going to make much. Obviously, Kagiso Rabada is out, so they'll probably have to look at like Chris Morris coming in, somebody who's going to add with the bat as well, so that we can strengthen the balance of the team.
Now, last one but not least, very last one. You win the toss in Nottingham. What do you do?
We definitely have to have a bet. You know, I'm the believer that once you've got an opportunity to put runs on board, you can put runs on board. As England did, you need 1 or 2 players to put up good scores, get over 400, then you've got another team under pressure.
Fantastic. Dumisa Makalima, thank you very much once again for coming through. Very valuable insights and input that you're giving us. Dumisa Makalima, the head coach for University of Johannesburg Cricket, speaking to us a little bit about what happened and what we can expect going to the next test for the Proteas against England.